What is up, you guys? Kevin Hale here, doing another round of shots on this Sunday night, November 26th, 2023. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving, great holiday weekend. Hopefully, everybody got to spend it with family, friends, and just kind of enjoy themselves. From a personal standpoint, hope everyone's doing well. From a sports standpoint, uh, I think everyone's doing well. I think, as far as our little circle of friends here, BBN. Doing round of shots here on the Round of Shots YouTube page. Uh, Lots to talk about. It's been a few weeks since I did one of these, and it just felt right to do it after yesterday's fifth straight win over Louisville for the Governor's Cup. Mark Stoops staying going. He's staying. We'll see what the group here has to say about how that all played out yesterday. College football weekend. It's actually weekend. I think I wrote 12, but it's actually weekend 13 because of bye week. We'll talk Kentucky men's hoops. They're fun. I've really enjoyed watching our cats, pun intended, the kids doing their thing. A lot of shooters on this team. Got a big game this coming week. It's Tuesday. It's the ACC SEC Challenge, Miami. 10th ranked Miami Hurricanes. That's who we'll be playing. Final shots and more. Doing it tonight. It's like I said, it's been a while since I've hung out with these cool kids. Terry Brown is in the house. What's up, TB?
It's good to be here, man. It's
Look at you.
Fantastic.
Look at you. What's up? You got the background? Did you do that on purpose? How did that happen?
I have no idea how that happened.
I don't know how that happened here.
But I'm an all-star. I'm ready, baby.
You are an all-star, rock star. Speaking of Brown, we got another one. Michele.
I don't have any fireworks. That's okay.
Did y'all see the fireworks
Yeah.
in Terry's background?
But I'm okay.
You are okay. We are okay.
Because you can get those whiteboards at Ollie's really cheap.
I don't need one when I got you all.
Well, there you go. But, I had to have one because when you bring your other guest on, I'll have to.
Is it like point, counterpoint?
Well, he is. But he spent another podcast talking about how right he is. So,
Yeah, I mean, if it's his podcast, he's probably allowed to say whatever he wants about himself.
well, he can say whatever he wants, but he's still wrong.
All right. Would you like to, as you're blowing smoke, literally blowing smoke, Jay? Would you like to know how do you defend these charges?
Well, I was right, and I'm actually right quite a bit, but I go out there because I am a competitor and I say some crazy things. So yeah, I'm wrong a lot, and people like to remind me. It's mostly people that deal with the media. Michele used to be still maybe kind of is media, so they're like, you're so wrong, but hey, it is what it is.
It is.
I am wrong sometimes, but I wasn't wrong this weekend.
You wasn't wrong this weekend. I want to get your see if you were right or wrong about how the whole Stoops thing played out. But rounding out our show tonight, our panel Roundtable, Dave, Slone. Dave, what's up?
Dave-o.
Ready to talk shit and have a good conversation. That's what I'm ready for.
Well, let's go on and start this shit talk, guys. Yesterday, Kentucky, the Cats came into my neck of the woods, Terry's neck of the woods, previous neck of the woods here in Louisville. They the Cats came in as what, 6.5 point underdogs, I think was or maybe 7. They got
something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, a game where I'll be honest, I thought Louisville was going to cover the spread, and their momentum's pretty good. Ours hasn't been. But the Cats came in and took advantage of Louisville turnovers. On paper, Terry, stat-wise, Louisville kind of dominated us. Kind of. But,
I mean,
go ahead.
okay.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a 49ers fan, and they beat the Seahawks pretty handily on Thanksgiving night. And there was a Seahawks fan that basically is like, well, we outscored them in the second half and gained more yardage in the third quarter. What does that have to do with anything?
I know. Yeah. Because Michele, ultimately, show us the whiteboard again.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I'm just bringing up stats, but ultimately, it's those numbers that matter.
If I was 6'6" and could jump, then maybe I would have been playing in Rupp Arena. We could do that all day. I was told by a lot of folks in red that this was a blowout. I was told that Jeff Brom was coming to, bring balance to the force. I was told a lot of things that proved not to be true. And so I need to stop listening to those people. For all the trash talking Louisville has about who Stoops is, what kind of coach he is, they can't beat him. It's not even about having superior talent. They can't beat him. Whatever you want to say, it's been 6 years since they won.
Yeah.
Do you know what else happened in November of 2017? I met my wife in 2017. My entire relationship has taken place in the time that Louisville has won. I met, I moved, got engaged, got married. We will celebrate our 3rd anniversary by the time Louisville has the opportunity to win. That's a long time.
You've scored more in your relationship than Louisville has in their relationship with the Cats.
Well, I'm not going to put that out there, but it was a good game, and it was just one of those things. They don't think it's like what happens with men's basketball. They don't think they can beat Kentucky. The players don't. The coaches don't think they can do it.
Michele, jump in. Your summary from yesterday.
Okay, well, the high points. Deion Walker. I mean, I don't have to say anything else but that man's name. You look at him on the field, and he literally is a man amongst boys. I mean, it just doesn't seem fair that anybody has to play against him, but pretty cool. Number 2, Louisville resorted early and often to the only strategy they had for hopefully beating the Cats, and that was to bait them into unsportsmanlike calls. Their little chippy hits, knocking off Hairston's helmet with the shot to the head. I mean, all those little tacky things. And the Cats didn't rise to the bait. And this is the one thing I'm mad at Kentucky about. They went an entire game with 0 penalties. After, in a high emotion rivalry game where there's always the chippiness and the back and forth and so many opportunities to lose your cool, which means they've had the ability to be disciplined all season long, and they haven't been. But
that's a good
38 to 31. And also, my last point, J.J. freaking Weaver.
Nice homecoming.
His name was called in the second half over and over, and he was the one who never gave up on a play, and he didn't assume a ball was going to roll out of bounds when it was fumbled by Plummer. He chased it because it was inbounds. Caused another fumble. I mean, he was just everywhere all the time. So
didn't he recover both those fumbles?
Yeah,
he did. Yeah.
And he also got MVP, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
As well he should.
All right. Let me go to...
Oh, yeah. One last thing.
Good.
Cardinal fans after the game. They can't say anything. I mean, they really had no defense for they lost. We beat them again. It happened again. There was one moron that posted, one that I happened to catch because, I try not to read the comments too much. But this one stood out. He said, well, we might have lost, but they have to go back because they play in a shithole stadium made of concrete and steel.
Okay. That put a dagger in our hearts, didn't it?
I'm like, well, what's your stadium made of? Paper and plastic? I mean, and don't we own your stadium anyway? I mean, we own you.
That's been a recurring theme for at least the last 5 years. Jay Hayes, what you got for me?
JJ Weaver. It was nice to finally hear his name because we haven't heard it all year long.
Not like yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. So Michele mentioned that Deion Walker was, I mean, like the announcer said, he could probably start on Georgia and Bama, most likely. But
At the same time.
Louisville made adjustment, and then we saw JJ Weaver in the second half. They made an adjustment at halftime, and you didn't hear so much about Walker. He was still doing his thing, but then here comes JJ Weaver. He had 8 solo tackles, 2 fumble recoveries, a sack, a tackle for loss. He deserved it. It was good to finally hear his name at the end of the year, at least. But we had chunk plays. You said dominate in the stats. It was total yards 289 to 403.
Okay,
I don't know if
that's not dominate. Okay, that's not the right
that's
word.
a bit of a strong word. Dominate.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
But we hit him with chunk plays, and at the end of the day, Barrion Brown did his thing, and Ray Davis L's down to Jack Harlow. That you loved. You love to see it because that was a bit of entertainment as well. You know, I thought it was Louisville fans they have no class. They booed the band and they talk shit to players. Not like fun sports talk shit, having fun. It was fuck you, Deion. You know, it was bad. Louisville people, really, not all Louisville people, but the big percent of them are shit. Media and all are shit.
Dave, or first of all, what's up with this, Jay? Who is this?
Oh yeah,
Sultan of SWAT. Jay is wrong. Jaron was right. What was that about?
This is a thing that Michele has started now. That it's a damn thing out here in the world. That's my guy. That's Jaron Ruth, though. He's a big football guy.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Jay. Dave-O, what you got?
Well, I got 2 words we ain't heard a lot all year. You ready? Coaching adjustments.
Ooh.
Right? So Louisville came in and was a really good running team.
Yeah.
You know, and Brad White finally was like, you know what? Maybe I ought to change my scheme up a little bit and shut the run down and make Plummer throw the ball.
Let me say something real quick, though. At the beginning of the season, of course, you got to say who we played, but we were like a top 5 run defense in the country, not just in the SEC. So, it's not a new thing.
It's not a new thing, but the previous 4 to 5 games before, we were just getting absolutely gashed by anybody and everybody we played.
Right.
And so I was really excited to see, you know, Brad White really crack down on that shit and make Plummer throw the ball. And I don't want to hear no bullshit about, we got lucky with fumbles and shit. We smacked Jay Plummer hard many times. And the other thing I was super excited about was we seen a true freshman out there, Kamari Anderson. I didn't realize how big that son of a bitch is, but he is huge. He made that one catch and that leap that really was a major player in the game. He leaped over that defender. And also, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm a big tight end guy blocking. And he had some great blocks to spray Ray on the outside. So that was super tight, super encouraging to see. So,
and speaking of adjustments, Terry, you know, our guys put up 31 in the second half, and you know, I acknowledge, you know, I use the word dominate, and that's not the right word as far as yardage and stuff.
Dominated the third quarter.
Yeah, Kentucky actually dominated really just kind of
the last 5 years.
Yeah, the last 5 years. But Terry, this is where the Cats, you know, again, they did make adjustments. The defense was, I thought, was a little more aggressive. What was go down that rabbit hole? What more specifically did you appreciate from yesterday?
You know, for my thing, I thought that this week of preparation was an easy sell for Mark Stoops. Like the last time we went a couple times ago, 30-point underdogs. We're better than we were, and they don't have Lamar Jackson. And so again, as Stoops said in this post-game presser, we are the SEC. I know that the record, wasn't what we thought it was going to be in the SEC, but we have big bodies on the front lines. And we saw that in the third and fourth quarter, where if you push on those guys enough, and like Jay was saying, you allocate enough resources for Deion, somebody else is going to step up. And that's what we saw was when plays had to be made in the second half, that's where the separation is, because it's the front line. It's the trenches. That's what won Kentucky the game. It's getting Ray Davis the creases on offense. It's closing down the holes on defense. That's what won the game.
Michele, piggyback off that, again, second half adjustments. It did feel like, the coaches responded accordingly and had somewhat of a solid game plan.
Well, it did. And again, like I said, the team as a whole, and I'm going to get mad again, and I don't want to be mad because I'm really excited and happy about this win, but they showed what they could be when they were focused and paying attention to the game at hand. And that is, they played clean football. They were making tackles. Now, I'll grant you, in the first quarter, they missed a lot of tackles. But they made that adjustment. They cleaned that up, and the defense became more of a swarming thing. And Louisville had to fight for every point they got in the second half, and it seemed like ours just kind of like we were just kind of cakewalking to the end zone, which I like that one too. And shout out to the dude in the middle of all of the Cardinal fans who has the camera on him every 5 minutes. And then, Barry and Brown, when he returns that kickoff for a touchdown, the guy's like, did his little L's down thing. And I'll give those fans around him credit. They must be friends because
they played along.
Laughed.
Yeah.
They were like, okay, yeah, you got us on that one.
Yeah.
But most times I would not be brave enough to do L's down in that stadium unless I was surrounded by a big blue nation,
or the wall. Yeah.
He said he snuck into the student section. His tickets were up in the 300. He just took a shot and snuck in the student section. He goes to UK.
Okay. Even better story. Wow. Jay.
And when there was the other guy in the middle of Red Ones that you saw, the one that had the real wild headdress with the spikes, sitting next to a U of L fan wearing a shirt that says "I'm with stupid." So that one. It's one of the few times I really appreciated that shirt.
Jay, going back to you again, second half adjustments and everything, but let's be fair. I mean, Michele said it. I mean, just the way the guys came out and played yesterday. Louisville is not a bad team. Louisville's a good team, but they
in the ACC.
They're okay. They're a good team in the ACC, but I mean, let's not. I think that this victory is a good win. I don't think that's it's a shitty Louisville team. I mean, if they're a bad Louisville team, then that takes away from our win.
Right, I agree. And being where Kentucky was with issues, we don't know inside issues, but evidently there's something going on there. They just lost to a really shitty South Carolina team. They dropped some games they shouldn't have. So, yeah, I'm with you. It was a good win. But like I said, Louisville plays in the ACC. At the end of the day, shit conference in football. It is what it is. But I don't know. I mean, we talk about adjustments. I think, and I've heard players say this, like they have a game plan. Of course, maybe they might adjust something, do this, but they're not going to make big adjustments. I think it was more on Louisville's part of trying to stop Deion Walker. And that opened up other players to just eat, like J.J. Weaver. So I think that was more of what happened than actually Kentucky making adjustments. But they could have, but you go into these games having a game plan. But I'm happy with the win. I do think it is a good win. where do we go from here? 7-5 is a disappointment.
Well, we're gonna we'll stay on that before we kind of look at that. Dave, give me your final take on just the way we did respond in the second half and the effort, man.
Yeah.
It was something, when you see a game, they play the way they did yesterday. Now, Grant, it's a rival, I get it, but it is disheartening when you don't see anywhere near that performance against a shitty South Carolina team.
Yeah. I guess you can say like what you heard about. I can't remember which announcer said it, but Liam Cohen was in his bag, especially in the second half. He finally proved that, hey, I can, let Leary let it loose. You saw some absolute dimes to Brown.
Oh, sweet throws.
And to Key, So, I mean, that right there was super exciting to see. And hopefully it's a small glimpse of what we can see next year. So, kudos to Liam for finally letting loose and throwing the ball down the field. So, that was awesome.
That was a job interview.
Well, hopefully that was a keep job interview.
Yeah. Terry, going back to what Jay has talked about the season itself, 7-5. I think amongst us friends, we were guessing that it'd be 8, 9, maybe 10 wins, 12-0. If you talk to somebody on this panel, Vegas said 6.5, so that's the 7. What's looking at after the regular season? Now the regular season's over. Stoops gets doesn't he get a bonus for winning 7 games? Right?
I don't know.
Anything over 7 games.
It over 7 or 7?
I believe it's anything over 7 games. He gets a bonus.
Okay, I thought it was 7. So, regardless, summary of the season, of the regular season, Terry.
You take the good, you take the bad. A little bit disappointing, but 7-5 is okay. As I've always said, 80% of college football teams are like 10 plays away from either having 4 wins or 9 wins. We had a lot of those plays did not go our way. So for me, sometimes you just get a season.
And this season, Michele, I think collectively, the mass was saying that this arguably was Stoops' most complete team, from top to bottom, as far roster.
In the preseason. In the preseason, and I guess we were getting a lot of stuff from national media that had watched spring practices and any of the open practices. They're reporting what they say. Like, yeah, the hometown media has always said this is good, or that they've been optimistic, but no, it's for real this year. And so a lot more people bought into a much brighter picture. And I think that that's what probably hurt us more. I mean, if I'd gone in with, okay, I think 8 wins is probably very realistic. I'll be pleased with 8 wins because we've got a pretty tough schedule. 9 wins would be awesome. 10 would be through the roof. And it all turned with that fake punt at Missouri. Now, if you want to put a pin in where everything changed in the season, after that one play, it was just, it shouldn't be one play that could change everything that drastically, but that's when everything started going downhill. And it seemed to take them a long time to get over being tricked like that, or to use the word Jesse Palmer, it was trickeration in the finest point, and they lost their ever-loving minds for several games thereafter.
Didn't Kenny Payne use the word trick when it came to who they played? Someone Indiana went to a zone, and he said Woodson tricked him with the zone. Okay, anyways, I digress. Jay, you brought up it
was shit.
7-5.
7-5 is shit. I don't care what anybody says. It's shit. 7-5 is shit for a coach that makes $8 million a year. It's shit. It's shit, and it's not acceptable. It's not. Like, you know, I like this notion of people that say, "Oh, well, we can't do better than Stoops." You can do better than mediocre Mark. Point blank. You can get a guy in here that can duplicate what Mark Stoops is doing. And the notion that you can't, like these people are out here going, "No, please, Mark, don't leave us," is crazy to me. Like, that is crazy. 7-5 is not it. Liam Cohen won 9 games with less talent in 21. You have Brad White. You have Stoops. You all love Stoops. 7 wins for $8 million? Hell no. It's a shit season.
You know, it's kind of hard to argue that because
I will say this. Let me add this. They had 2 games that were very winnable. That makes it 9 wins. That would have been
Carolina.
South
Who
Carolina.
was the other one?
Oh, well, Missouri and Tennessee both were winnable.
Tennessee was definitely winnable.
So now you're looking at 10 games.
Yeah.
You got to win those games. You can't drop those games. I don't know what was going on, but for the money, you got to pull those games out.
Dave,
you know, but
yeah.
7-5 is shit.
Yeah,
Or it's horrible.
I'm one of the fans that's old enough to, you know Kentucky football past, you know, and give me enough wins and give me a good bowl, and I'll be happy. I like to think I'm realistic. Second place in the, as we know it now, the SEC East is, to me, the only realistic goal for Kentucky football. You're not as long as Georgia's in the SEC, or just staying with the East, as long as Georgia's there, we're not anywhere near Georgia, Bama elite status. It's not who we are. And I don't know if in the foreseeable future we'll even get a sniff of that. And then you're bringing the Oklahoma and Texas in next year.
It'll be hard.
And so, Dave, are you buying, selling what Jay's saying, or is it a shit season?
I get it. I mean, it's frustrating, right? I mean, we went from the South Carolina loss to where pretty much 99% of fans is like, oh shit, you know, fuck it at this point, right? To actually we had something to celebrate on, which you always want to celebrate beating Louisville, right? I'm a Stoops guy, right? I am. I mean, I'm not going to say we can't get better because he's built a culture to maybe where a really good coach would come here and continue that success. So I'm not saying he's not replaceable. But I like him. I think, and I know we're going to talk about Stoops here in a minute, but I think it needs to come to a time next year where he's going to have to hold himself accountable. He's going to have to hold some other people below him accountable. So we'll go to what TB says all the time. It's not every day, you know, that we can see Kentucky football get 8 wins in a season. So I'm okay with it, but I'm not like rah, we got 8 wins, right? We're not 6-6. We're not 5-7. So let's just, I hate saying this, but let's wait till next year. I mean, it is what it is at this point.
I'll say this, Terry, you know, after South Carolina, I thought 6-7 was going to be the number for this year. I thought we were going to get our asses kicked by Louisville, and then we'll go to a bowl game where a lot of our players decide not to play, and then that was the scenario last year, right? Didn't we was it shut out by Iowa? Anyways,
it was 21-7.
21.
That still might happen. There still may be quite a few people opting out. So
potentially, but go ahead, Jerry. You've heard enough, but go ahead.
No, it is what it is. But I understand 7-5. Mark Stoops makes a lot of money to win those games, like Jay was talking about, right? But I hear people say we need to take this next step. Okay, we're a 7-win team. What's the next step? 9 wins. I've explained to people repeatedly the number of teams that average 9 football wins is not as long as you think it is. It's 5 teams that average 9 wins or more over the last 25 years. 9 out of 135 teams, right? So I want to go 12-0 every year, but I'm also realistic enough to know, for us to get to 8-9 wins, that's never losing to Missouri, never losing to Louisville, never losing to South Carolina, and that's just not sustainable. That it just isn't, right? Like, if you say to yourself with this schedule, hey, Alabama, Georgia, they're a step above, don't get hurt, right? And then the margins get really, really narrow on the rest of them. Right. Losing South Carolina sucked, but prior to the last 2 years, we had won like 8 of 9 games. Against Missouri, we had won like 6 out of the last 7, right? This was one of those years. Sometimes it comes due, and it looks bad how we lost, but sometimes poop happens.
I think, Michele, some of the frustration out there with BBN is that, well, I'll say with me, my frustration is that I felt like we were on the verge of being that second best place team, second best in the East, and one of the top 4 in the SEC as a whole. And then this year, it was a regression. I mean, we took steps back. I mean, we couldn't get the quarterback and receivers on the same page, and just obviously, there might be some internal stuff. I mean, one of y'all mentioned it that we're not aware of. But yeah, again, to me, it's if we're trying to take that step to being top 4, second best in the East, this was not it for us this year.
Well, again, I reiterate what I said before. We had higher expectations this year. So the things that went wrong, I think it made it seem a lot worse, because we've been expecting, we want to be here, and we get, doing that. Okay, this time we said, we're going to be up here, and we went, we're kind of where we were, and it felt a whole lot worse. Now, as for what's going on, Brad White said last night, said, you all aren't in the locker room, and if you're not in the locker room, you can't speak about what's going on in the locker room. We haven't lost the locker room. So, a lot of that is a whole bunch of speculation. My biggest peeve with the team, and this is what I would want Mark Stoops to answer to, and to assure us that it would change in the coming season, was the absolute total lack of discipline in 11 games. And if you go back, I said 4 years ago, even when we didn't have the depth that we have now, you have somebody like Jordan Jones. You can ill afford to have Jordan Jones sitting on the bench, because Jordan Jones's replacement is several steps below him talent-wise, and we lose on that. But Jordan Jones screwed around. He screwed around academically. Not enough to be ineligible academically, but enough he was borderline. So they benched him. He messed around with team rules. They benched him. He had a bad attitude on the bench. They benched him. Somebody you could not afford to bench. This year, like I said, our top 2 tight ends were out yesterday. What happened? The third one was next man up and did his thing. So you've got that, I don't want to call it luxury, but for Kentucky football, it is a luxury. You got your first and second string people screwing around. Bench their asses until they're ready to play disciplined, controlled, clear-headed, cool-headed football, and not lose games with stupid penalties. Okay.
I hear you, Michele. That was your needle was on the red right there. But you brought it up. Our depth was a huge thing this year, and that was, again, Jay. When the starters were not in the game, we didn't. It wasn't a substantial drop from the bench,
and that's one argument for this because this is Stoops' best roster he has ever had. Now, people will argue with that, but we're sitting here telling each other that because we have those. When you go look at the roster, look at the backups,
top to bottom. Right.
That is why this is the best roster he's had. Right. Also, Michele said something about speculating about the locker room. It's not speculation when players are tweeting. When you see players tweeting, it's not speculation. They are putting things out there on social media saying, this is a shithole. The grass is greener. Maybe on the other side. Like that is telling, that's not speculating that there's an issue there. But things have changed. People want to go back to the past. You said it, Kevin. I remember 2-10. We all get it. Kentucky football. This is not that. This is Kentucky football that money has now been put into. We have a coach that makes $8 million. We have never, ever. The money is being so. That's why I tell you 7-5 is not good. It's shit. And I like Stoops. Stoops has done some good things here, but the regression has been. It was last year. I'm not okay with the Music City Bowl. If you are, you're just not a competitor. I don't know what to tell you other than that. If you're okay with the Music City Bowl, you're not a competitive person. If you're okay with Duke's Mayo Bowl, you're not a competitive person. That's shit. We were in the conversation for fighting for the East. We were there.
Right.
And that's
more frustrating.
More money was even put in. Now you got the best roster you ever had. You don't worry about the starter going down because now we have a equal backup. It's not good. It's not good.
Sultan of Swad, is it acceptable for Kentucky football fans to be happy with a 5th place finish in football going forward? Is that the second in the East type of mentality? That's a good question. And here's the thing: if you're as me being, I'm content with us challenging for that second spot. But I want us to be there, Jay.
Right.
We're not going to beat Georgia and Bama right now. I don't get it.
Things are changing with NIL. Eventually, I think we get there.
Okay. Eventually, but in the foreseeable future, case in point this year, I mean those Bama and Georgia just hammered us.
Well, you gotta show up. You can't be scared of the name on the jersey. You gotta show up and compete.
But to his point, 5th place, if I'm targeting 2nd place because of being kind of realistic with Georgia and Bama, 5th place is probably that mindset for me because Texas and Oklahoma are just better football programs than us. LSU they're better. They would have beat our ass this year too. Davo, just kind of finish us up with this, with your thoughts.
Well, Jay, I mean, I get it, but I mean, I kind of disagree a little bit. I think the Duke's Mayo Bowl is pretty cool because the winning coach gets dumped mayonnaise on them. So, so just the nostalgia behind that is pretty cool, right?
But to your point, it's funny that Mark Stoops ran his fucking mouth about the goober at fucking South Carolina. We saw him get dumped, and now we're fucking going to the Duke's mayonnaise bowls for Mark Stoops to get dumped. Quit running your fucking mouth,
Is it fair, Jay? Is your I don't know if disdain is the right word. Stoops, the whole kind of thing with the basketball that soured you with Stoops.
A little, a little, because he opened his mouth and ran his mouth about something, and then you have him talking about Beamer, and look what's happening. Mm-hmm. Keep opening your mouth and keep getting shit on, dude. Like, shut your mouth and coach. Let's get back to winning 9-10 games. We
let our football coach badmouth our basketball coach and entertain our championship winning basketball coach, and we entertained it as if it was something that should have been debated.
Right.
I've said it. I said it then. Cal said what he had to say because Kentucky is a basketball school. I am far away from Kentucky. When I wear Kentucky stuff, Iowa fans ask about Stoops because he played here.
Right.
But more people are like, hey, Kentucky basketball. That's all Cal was saying. Every school has something.
Right.
Every school has whatever. And you figure out to make it work. And then Stoops took offense. His players got on social media. And we had to have this debate. Would you rather have Stoops or would you rather have Cal? All I know is, and I agree with you, Jay, we've had 2 years of regression with football.
Yeah.
We had 2 or 3 seasons with regression.
Where's the balloons coming from?
I have no idea.
That's awesome.
I have no idea.
I gotta figure this out. I don't know.
But the thing is, and I tweeted this out after the South Carolina game. Do you think that Cal can right the ship? And I do. Do you think that Stoops can right the ship? Because Cal has.
Now I'm with Dave-O too, but I think Stoops deserves a stay.
Yeah.
I guess, Kevin, we'll get to suitcases packed and unpacked, but I think he's earned to stay with what he's done. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is, don't run your fucking mouth, dude. Look what's happened with you running your mouth. Just be that fiery, tough coach that you are. You know.
I tell you what needs to happen. The whole thing, the basketball football debate, could have been wrapped in one day if our athletics director, who I am normally 100% supportive of, because Mitch Barnhart's done a lot for this program, but he threw kerosene on a fire that could have been put out like blowing out a candle on a birthday cake. All you had to do was say, hey, guys, I get it. I love the passion that both of our coaches have. And let's hope we do become the football school that gets as much talk as the basketball does. That's our goal. And both of our coaches, I know they love each other. They support each other. Could have been no. He backed over, went to the Stoops corner, left Cal to hang to dry, and then the football players start tweeting. I'm like, people, you are writing checks you cannot cash.
Yeah. And I think
it's and like I said, Barnhart could have put a lid on it like that. Really ticked off in how he handled it because he made that a much worse situation than it needed to be.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I mean, with this season, I think we all can agree that the biggest handful of shit hit the fan whenever Stoops set his pony up, right? I mean, that not only pissed off the fans, but like it or not, whether people think it or not, it pissed off a lot of players. And that was super hard to bounce back from. So I hope Stoops has a gigantic ass bandage because he's going to need it to get the recruits in that he's getting and keeping and recruiting his own team to stay. So I think that's going to be a super interesting story.
Ooh, you bring up a good point. Let's go segue, Terry. Let's go into what happened after the game. Everything that transpired went down regarding Stoops, Texas A&M. Evidently, and you all correct me if I'm wrong with what I'm saying. There was he did meet with Texas A&M. There was a potential. It sounded like a mutual agreement that he was going to be the next coach. It had to be approved by the board of directors or something. And it was kind of in that phase, and then word got out, and then a lot of the Texas A&M fan base were like, look, we just paid a motherfucker $76 million to get out of here. We need somebody a little more than Stoops.
If this situation happened anywhere else with any other school, I would be concerned. But since we're all adults here, Texas A&M full of fucking idiots. You look at who they have brought in there. One, every coach since Bear Bryant left got fired because people are like, A&M's got money. Texas as a state has had a lot of money. Texas A&M has tried to be Texas, and they are a 7 to 8 win program. They didn't just get all this money in the last couple years with Jimbo. Texas A&M has tried to be better than Texas for 80 years. There's nothing new here. Right. They're still going to throw money. They're still going to do whatever, but they don't know what they're doing down there in College Station. It's weird. It's an outlier in Texas. Talk to Texas folks like A&M. They're strange down there. Any other place, I would be like, oh, this is egg on Stoops' face. I'm like, they don't know what they're doing. How do you start making offers and you don't have the approval in hand? That's my whole point. If you're the AD, this is on you. Like, the AD's got to go after this.
Somebody has to, clearly. Michele, how did you feel? I guess, how do you feel now after everything has come and gone with regards to Stoops?
My take on the whole thing last night. The first person I read that's tweeted this, that barring a total collapse, this is what's going to happen, and it was an A&M media guy, and then Kentucky media guys picked up on that national, and so I guess that was their source. I don't know who Matt's source was later, but to say Stoops was staying. But to me, I don't know that Stoops ever agreed to anything. My feeling is he had a very serious conversation and said, like, let's talk again Monday when you can give me, maybe when there's something more definitive, maybe when you have an AD, when I have an official offer and not just talking points. I also think that because everything originated from A&M, I think it was intentionally leaked to that guy to get the word out there so they could kind of read the room, see what the room was going to think about potential marks. And boy, it did not take long to find out what A&M thought about that. They weren't going to have it, and that's it. I'm selling all my. You would have thought, like Cal losing to one of the teams he lost to, he wasn't supposed to. I'm not even going to go there. But they're going to sell everything. They're not going to any more games, and yada yada yada. And I get to thinking about this, like if people are saying Stoops is an 8 or maybe in a good place with all those resources, maybe a 9-win coach. That's not good enough for them at A&M. They are of the mind that they should be 12-0 every single year. That just 9 wins isn't good enough. And if I'm not mistaken, did Bear Bryant ever win more than 8 games at A&M? If Bear Bryant couldn't do it, they're chasing a unicorn is what they're doing down there. And I think he'd be happy to escape that little fantasy land.
Well, I think Jay, clearly A&M has the dough to bring in really whoever they want, and for whatever reason, Jimbo didn't work. So to the fan base, look, again, we've got all this money that we can throw at a coach. We just, I don't know how the structure is to pay the 76, but they're going to have to pay him. So the fan base thinks, hey, we got the money to bring in whoever we want. Yeah, and Stoops was not their guy. The Texas A&M fan base.
Yeah, I heard Stoops took the job. That's coming from credentialed media, high-ranking credentialed A&M media. But who's to know? We wasn't backstage, so to speak. But it makes it crazy that if he did take the job and then he puts the statement out, I'm a Kentucky guy, my heart is here. If they were looking for,
did he say right now? I'm here right now.
Right now. Right now. So hopefully the Iowa job opens and he goes.
They won't. No, he's. I don't think he's coming to Iowa.
But
the standards in Iowa are a whole lot higher than what we've been getting.
Okay. Which is crazy in itself. But
look, people have been shitting on me because I've been saying Kentucky would do a backflip if we could compete like Iowa has competed.
Right.
You're talking about going to the Mayo Bowl. Remember a couple years ago we played Iowa in the Citrus Bowl. It was a big deal. They are in the same exact fucking position a couple of years later, and they can't score points. They are 10-2 right now. What would you do for 10-2 Kentucky right now?
Right.
They're 10-2 in a pretty damn good conference.
Yeah.
You know.
And here's the thing: keep in mind with this, because they're like, when they beat up on these people, they're 6-4 in their last 10 against Michigan. We're not competing. Your words, Kevin. We're not competing with Georgia, Alabama. Recently, they boat raced Ohio State. We're not doing that.
Right.
We don't have any Heisman Trophy winners. Iowa does. They have almost triple the All-Americans that Kentucky does. They have a brand. They're tight end U. There are 4 Iowa tight ends starting in the NFL every Sunday.
And
people are like, we don't want to be Iowa.
That's been out there. That they've called for Mark Stoops.
Oh yeah, I've said that. But what I'm saying is he can't come with this 7-5 because Iowa's better than that.
Right, and that's and I think that's Texas A&M's thinking. 8-4. Mark Stoops, mediocre Mark. But then they go get an ACC coach who is a Jimbo protege that went 7-5 in the ACC.
Right.
So make it make sense. I have no idea. Make it make sense,
Yeah, and Dave, I don't know if you can make it make sense. Go for it. But kind of moving past Texas A&M. Dave is a fan. Did this whole thing kind of leave a sour taste in your mouth? I mean, are you welcoming Stoops back with open arms, kind of thing, or now is there? What's your mindset now?
Yeah, so if we're talking about the biggest what the fuck moment, I mean, come on. I mean, all this celebration, and then you got us all up till, I don't know, Terry. I don't know what time it was. Probably midnight for me, 11 o'clock for you. We're all asleep, right? We're all just like, oh fuck it, let's see who our new coach is. Starting the next day. Well, I don't want to hold a grudge. I mean, I don't, especially against a coach who's done the most ever in my lifetime for a football program. But I want to say that we probably should hold a grudge against him. And I probably think that we have something against him now to be like, look, you did this to us, so you better bring the heat next year. You know what I mean? Now, we're all humans, right? You can't blame the guy for listening to possibly getting $100 million in 5 years, right?
That's a good job. That's an upgrade.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's tit for tat, right? Am I pissed that he tried to dip on us? Yeah. Do I understand it? Yeah. So we'll see.
What was the mindset, Terry? The mindset at a particular moment for you last night was that he was gone. Who were you wishing, hoping was the next guy?
There's only one answer.
Well, let's see if he says it.
I think most people want Summerall.
That's
but
what the consensus is. But
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
Was there? Yeah, I guess what I'm getting at too was there concerns too. And I know we don't have to now, but what does this do? I mean, if Stoops has kind of put it out there, Terry, that he's up for the conversation with another program. I mean, has the fan base, has he lost more of the fan base after last night than the people that were
the same people that wanted him gone after the Missouri game? Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Stoops didn't do anything that every other coach isn't doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the whole thing. Look, when it comes to coaching, here's the thing. We let this Coach K tour kind of convince us that's how it goes. Coaches get run out or they job hop. That's all that happens. The University of Kentucky told Adolph Rupp it was time to go. Bobby Bowden got pushed out of Florida. It's like, what are we doing here? We push out coaches job hop. That's what happens. Like, that's what this is.
Yeah. I'm here. Deal was rumored to be less than what he's making at Kentucky. 6 years, $51 million. That's
fucking insulting. That is insulting, to be honest with you. But
What is it for 7 and 5?
Well, Texas A&M money, that's insulting.
He's making 8.6 a year here for 7 and 5, Jay.
Right.
You keep pointing it out.
Why would you leave? Why would you leave?
I have a hard time believing that.
Why would you leave?
Yeah, I don't,
Hey, here's my
those
question,
numbers.
Jay.
Why would you leave?
You bring up
$9
$9 million a year. You bring up $9 million a year, which of course, as Sultan of Swap pointed out, is wrong because it's 8.6. But anyway, what would be the acceptable salary for Stoops with the record that he's been producing? What do you think the correct salary is?
It ain't what he's making.
Well, no, you can't just say that. You can't sit there and have a blood vessel bursting on your temple every time when you bring up the topic.
Me personally, I would give Mark Stoops $500,000.
God damn, Jay.
Okay, well, yeah, you're nuts now.
Hey, go run your mouth somewhere else, man. Take another job. I'm cool with that. We can have another coach come in here and go 7 and 5. If you think we can, it's crazy. The last coach was 7 and 5. Shit.
I do think he is getting the bonus. He's getting a bonus for 7 wins. I do think that's in his contract.
But the last coaches in here were not able to convince the administration that we needed facilities upgrades.
I get it.
And the coaching staff he brought in, you can dislike or whatever about it. All day long, but he can bring a coaching staff in.
I gave him the recruit. But what I'm telling you is 7 and 5 is not it.
All I'm saying is get that blood vessel checked, and then come up with a number for me that's more realistic than 500,000. There's got to be a happy medium.
Terry, you have a beautiful smile. Just want to say.
What?
I said, Terry, you have a beautiful smile.
I'm just trying to get Jay's blood pressure down. He won't answer a direct question. Seriously.
I told you 500,000.
That's not, well, and we know that's a joke.
That's what he's worth.
All right, we got to switch gears. I mean, we're almost an hour.
You always wanted conflict, Kevin. You get it now. You're trying to back out.
Not back out. I appreciate the conflict.
Man.
I just we can take this next. Let's keep the conflict and go to the next topic. Let's try. I'm gonna skip the college football weekend. Let's go straight to our basketball, men's basketball team. Terry, pretty damn fun so far. Agree? Disagree? What you got, Mr. Handsome?
I just wish people would be honest. Is this team fun? Yes.
Yeah.
People, fun. I can't remember when this team was this fun. A couple years ago, they went to Kansas and boat raced Kansas, and that was fun. Like, there have been fun moments. So say this season feels more fun, but I can't remember last time I watched the Kentucky game and this was this fun. Just stop. You don't have to do that to make your point. That's all I'm asking for.
Oh, that's not what I'm saying.
No, I'm just putting that out there for people. Yeah. Just be honest.
Yeah. Now it does help. This team, Terry, shooters. I'll start there. Man, we've got legitimately everybody on basically the starting lineup.
It's like I said,
shooting a three. Go ahead.
It's like I said when we talked about the couple of bad seasons for both men's basketball and football. Who did you trust more to rebuild this?
Oh, of course. Right.
And Cal was like, I'm just going to get some elite dudes, and we're just going to make this work again. And verily, here we are making it work again. So it's fun. It's good. I'm happy.
Good. Michele, basketball.
Maybe the difference why people are making so much of a comment about it being fun is we haven't had as much full-out running for the whole game for the team to, when you get the last 5 minutes and you're up 30 points and we're still out there running, that makes it more fun for the fans. The players seem to be, as a collective, having an enormous amount of fun. That rubs off on you.
Unless you talk to Jay Williams and the insinuation with
Jay Williams doesn't. I mean, and he's my friend. That's the thing that kills me because I got to know Jay personally. I've even got his phone number in my contacts. I could call him up right now, but I won't.
You should. We got some shit to tell him.
I really should. But, of course, right after he made those comments, DJ went out and had back-to-back killer games. So I think he kind of gets shut up there. But I'm not saying that I didn't have fun all these years with Kentucky basketball. I'm just saying there's an upper level. There's a lot more excitement, and the fan base has seen that Cal has made changes, and they all seem to be positive changes. Some of the things that kind of slipped away in the last couple of years, and like Welch, for instance, that's I think going to prove to be one of the most incredible key hires that he made on his staff.
I like that.
Time will tell, but so far what we're hearing, I think that could be one of the big difference makers this season.
Jay, what you got for me with the men's hoops?
So I would give Stoops 500,000, and the rest of the 8.6 I would give to Cal.
On top of what he's already making.
Yeah, because it is what it is. But no, man, everyone's right. Terry's dead on. Like, and I think it was last week I saw like 15 sarcastic tweets that I absolutely loved because it was on point and it is what it is, and a lot of people.
The spin rotation for DJ, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
those tweets. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in my bag that night.
Yeah, they were great. They were great. And I love seeing that because so many people would talk shit. But now, with the coaching changes, now that is what they're going to. Well, the offense is John Welch no, they have shooters now. So the narrative's going to be there regardless because those people do not like Cal. But hey, they're fun to watch. It's going to be interesting coming up. Big game Tuesday. So, but we're seeing all this with a small team, no bigs yet. And so it's really exciting. It's fast paced. Of course, when you talk about the games and everything, you got to say, hey, I didn't like Kentucky giving up 80 some points to Marshall, but that's small things to a giant. So to speak.
I can overlook that considering it was a 30 some point.
The most points ever scored by a John Calipari coach team.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was like, whoa. Once you just it was 69 points at halftime.
Right. Me and Terry talked about that during the game. You don't like seeing the defense a little bit better. And I think that'll change with a big, but when you're running like that, the pace of the game is part of that as well. So, and Terry brought that up, but yeah, they're fun to watch.
Fun. Davo, are you having fun?
Yeah. I mean, I'm seeing exactly what I said at the beginning of the season, Terry, when he's having spaces on Tuesday. I'm seeing a bunch of freshmen who are not giving a shit. They're playing for what's right here, and they're not playing for what's back here. We got a bunch of dogs and we got a bunch of ballers playing basketball. And it is exciting as hell. They're not coming in listening to noise. They're just wanting to win. They're scoring like crazy. They're shooting the hell out of the ball. They're passing the ball. Hell, they're making probably what some would consider too many extra passes. But I don't ever think you can have too many extra passes. They're passing open shots to get an open shot. And
to get a better shot.
Yeah, that shit is exciting. And to just to think what it's going to be like to have an athletic 7-footer come off the bench tue. Wow. Yeah. So, I mean, it is truly exciting for sure. So,
is Terry, where are we, 6 games into the season? Is the lineup, to me, starters, that it's who
doesn't
finishes.
Matter.
It doesn't matter. But it's still a talking point.
People that bring up lineups, can you name me who started the most games for the 1996 Kentucky Wildcats?
Right.
I can't tell you who I can't tell you who started. Like, I can't. When you've got talent, you just let them play, and you let the game dictate who plays the most. Like, right. I couldn't tell you who the starting lineup was.
Do you know who finished at St. Joe's game in overtime? 4 freshmen and 1 transfer.
Yeah, and people were upset about that, the St. Joe's game, because we should never be in that situation. Does everybody remember the 2014-15 team that went 38-1. Do you remember what they did to UCLA? Right? Did you know that we only beat Columbia from the Ivy League by 10, and they led at the half 25-23? Again, go to bigbluehistory.net, go to where they've got every box score, pick on a good Kentucky team in November, December, and you will find at least 2 or 3 scores. You're like, what the hell? That's just what happens, man. Ain't no reason
Those
to get
games don't sound fun.
I like those games. You need those games in November.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Well, this team beat everybody by 20 points. No, they didn't.
They did.
I'm thinking they had a conference game in January that went down. Wasn't it Mississippi State, maybe?
So, but you just go to
something like that. But yeah,
just you can just go and look. And Kentucky used to do this. No, they just won a lot of games. They weren't all blowouts. But this team is fun. I'm excited. Let's bring on the Hurricanes on Tuesday and see what happens.
Michele, what's again with the? I guess again, it doesn't matter who's starting, but who is maybe? Is it Shepard that's the most surprising person?
Well, I'm not surprised, but I wish you hadn't given me a segue because I was going to say the whole thing right now is Richie going to play? Only you substitute Reed. And they're all concerned about Reed. He needs to be starting. And I got a friend on Facebook. Why isn't he on the floor? This was 2 minutes into the game. And I'm like, you really need to chill out because it matters far less who starts the game than who finishes the game. And the people that, like I said, Reed Shepard's going to get his minutes. And quite frankly, I prefer having him come off the bench because when you've got a 6-man that you can run, and that's what Cal said. You count on Reed. He knows basketball. He's not going to. I mean, he might occasionally make a boneheaded play, but it's going to be way, 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 way uncommon for him because he's got the basketball IQ which I think we've been missing in recent years.
Our 6-man is arguably our most complete player.
Yeah, but the whole thing.
But go ahead. No, and I'm not saying he needs a start, but
I mean, like I said, I kind of like think of Darius Miller. I think of Alex Poythers. We've had some pretty dynamic 6-men that were difference makers that ended up, in some cases, having more minutes in games than some of the starters.
Right.
And Reed's going to get his, and there's a lot of romance around it because he's a Kentucky player. He's a legacy.
And
he's white.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Well,
that's fact.
Am I wrong, Kentucky fans? Can we be honest with each other?
I mean, that's it.
Because I said to Dave when we started talking over this summer, I was like, this is what's going to happen. It doesn't matter what anybody else does. If you check the lead photo for all these rundowns, it doesn't matter what Dillingham does, what DJ, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. This is Reed's team. This is how this team's going to be remembered. Luckily, we've got enough players that are okay with that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this could go a different way.
Yeah.
And Reed seems to be astute enough to recognize this himself because anytime any attention is, he automatically deflects everything to his teammates, every bit of it. And that's I think it's genuine. I don't think that's a plight, but he's smart enough to know he's got to do that. But
and not taking away from
why everybody like Kyle Wilcher. Why do people like Kyle Wilcher? I was not a Kyle Wilcher fan when he transferred.
He was a turtle. Slow.
Like you were a nice guy. Thanks for playing. Have a good life. And that we have many other players much better than him, and everybody, Kyle Wilcher, he's a Wildcat. No, he isn't. No, he couldn't handle the competition here, so he went out west where things are a little bit easier, and maybe the grass is greener.
It worked out for him there. It also worked out for us too. So, Jay. this Tuesday is a big game. I mean, Miami's legit. What do you need to see feel from Tuesday night?
Run. We got to run. I mean, we're playing.
Keep doing our thing. Right?
Yeah. You got to run. While you're playing small ball, you just run teams to death like Kentucky's been doing. I mean, you ain't got no other choice, really. I mean, what are you going to do but run? But I think this team is capable of it. I don't think we see a big man until around 10 game.
I know. That's what I was going to say. What is the latest feedback we're hearing as far as the bigs go?
Bradshaw was just on IG Live, and he said he ain't playing in Miami, so
he's not. Yeah. Okay. So none of them. And then didn't I hear Big Z's not eligible yet, correct?
He can't stay healthy.
But he can't. Yeah, he needs a doctor's note at this point because he.
If they said he had 104, I mean, I'm wondering if Hal exaggerated the temperature. 104 is really serious for an adult.
Coming from Croatia to.
Yeah, he's
body changes. Yeah,
right.
That's fair. Yeah.
But 104, I mean that's a massive.
And
it's easier in a baby than it is in a 7-footer.
And just people like Hal's going to say anything like he's not cleared by the NCAA for one. So why would Hal?
Yeah,
it's fucking nuts.
I just hope he wasn't being truthful about the temperature. That's all.
104 is pretty damn serious. I mean, you should be in an ER.
Right.
Exactly. That's my whole thing. And I thought maybe it was right 102.4, and he made it 104 because that's a Cal thing to do.
Yeah.
It was 102.4, so you rounded it up to 104.
Right. There was a 4 in there at the end.
4 in there. 4.
Started with 100, ended in 4.
Dave, will finish your thought on hoops, looking ahead to Tuesday, and
like Jay said, we got to keep running, and then we got to stop 3 and don't foul the 3. I think is important. I think Miami's is like one of the closest teams in the country that shoots the same kind of percentage as we do from a 3-point line. So I guess we're gonna prepare ourselves to see 80 3-pointers between the two teams go up, and probably 25 to 30 3-pointers made between the two teams. So I expect to see the scoreboard to start ringing up like the Space Jam Monstars and just keep going and going and going and going. This could very well be 115 to 110 point game with some stupid shit. So
potentially
it's going to be entertaining. So
Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. in Rupp, Miami, Kentucky.
Hopefully a loud and rowdy Rupp.
Need to be.
It is for big games.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah.
I mean, at this point, we've been complaining about Rupp Arena for 40, 50 years. So it is what it is. It's not going to be Fog Allen. It's not going to be Cameron. It's just not. And we just need to just say, for the big games, here we go.
And they do show up for those. I'll give them credit.
So, I mean, at some point, it is what it is with that.
All right. Staying with you, Terry. Final shot. Here we go. Bring it.
The best team on campus in Lexington. Tip your hat to Craig Skinner and the Kentucky volleyball team. Jay, I don't know what you would pay Coach Skinner, but my man Corey put the
$8.6 million.
Seven straight SEC championships.
600,000.
7 straight.
There's the balloons.
What's going on I don't know what I'm doing.
There's the balloons.
But
it's just Terry too. What the hell is he?
I don't have the number in front of me, but it's like 105-5 is the SEC record that Coach Skinner has had over the last 7 seasons. It's insane. They started off slow because they were playing everybody. They played Nebraska, who was the number 1 overall seed. Like they just had a murderer's row, and then they won like 19 straight matches. Like insane. So I tip my hat again. I know we're football and men's basketball only. As you can see behind me, I bleed blue, and I'm serious about it. Good job, Coach Skinner and the lovely ladies at volleyball.
Just because we don't talk about it here doesn't mean I don't pay attention. Just saying. And that's why we have Cats Talk Wednesday. We have These other shows, Jay, I don't know how much did you talk outside of Kentucky football and basketball. But,
yeah, I don't.
Okay, all right, we're in the same. So just go to Cats Talk Wednesday and get all. Michele, final shot, dear.
Well, I was going to talk about Kentucky volleyball and mentioned that they did have the NCAA pairings, and Kentucky gets to host first 2 rounds. So that's kind of a big deal to have that home court advantage for the first 2 rounds. So double kudos to Skinner. And then I was going to talk about women's basketball, which is just at the polar opposite of everything else.
Oh my God!
I don't know
She better
what's
be
going
making
on,
less
but they
than
can't.
500,000, right?
She gets
Well,
$1.58.
I'm going to say I'd give her a Happy Meal and maybe a Speedway Big Gulp. I don't know. Something's going on there, but it's not good. But what it finally settled that I want to talk on, if you hadn't read it this week, I highly encourage you to do so. And that's it's a story on KSR about Freddie Maggers. It's a story Freddie wrote with a lot of help, but Freddie's going through a pretty major health issue right now. He's got a brain disorder thing. I don't remember the official name, but things that he used to be able to do, like I said, when he would write his pregame notes, something that would take him 20 minutes now takes him 2 or 3 hours. He's having trouble with retaining things. Last night, one of the most heartbreaking tweets, there was all this celebration and everything, and he said, was congratulating the team on a great win, and he said, I hope I can remember this for a long time. And you really need to read that story because it was a big thing for Freddie to come out about what's going on because he's not as quick as he was. And when he's speaking, he said that Drew Franklin and Tyler Thompson, they've been right there to kind of shore him up and help with things. And I'm not a KSR fan at all, but they have been incredibly supportive and helpful with Freddie. So just keep your thoughts with him because that's one thing. Freddie keeps it real, for real when it comes to football, and he takes more abuse online because he will post actual stats and numbers, and they call it sunshine pumping and blowing smoke up Stoops' ass or whatever else, when all he's doing is reporting the facts. And Freddie's a good one. So send a prayer up for that one.
Thank you, Michele. Jay, final shot, sir.
I'm going to tip my hat to Cal because it is no secret that I really don't care for Kentucky media. A lot of the guys that are from Louisville, they're all fucking snobs, basically. And a lot of the Kentucky media as well, the credentialed media. Not all of them. There's some great ones. But a big percent of them are fucking snobs. And Cal has absolutely been bitch smacking these guys in post game. Like, I don't know if you guys watch post game, but Swaggy Cal is back. He is bitch slapping these guys. Oh, you guys don't watch? Yeah, that's what I thought. That's why he is so swaggy, and I fucking love it. So my hat is tipped to Cal. Keep bitch smacking these guys around.
Those post game pressers are fun.
Yes, very.
They're just Cal in general. It's fun.
Very fun.
I used to be there. I used to be a somebody before I moved.
Terry, you're still somebody.
I have to say this.
Iowa somebody now.
I can't.
Guy in Iowa.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine life without Cal. I mean, I'd say how many years? 12, 13? How many years has he been the coach?
13.
13. Big picture, obviously, it's a fraction of what the program is, but he just gets it. I mean, we're a brand. It's not a program, and only so many people can. I bet Patino was the other guy. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I bet he go 12-0 in football. Let him coach the football team. Come on, Cal. Hey, let me say this also to Cal, because you see Cal at these football games, rooting the football team on. Do you see Mark Stoops at basketball games? Absolutely.
Only if they're going to trot out the Governor's Cup trophy.
He'll be there on Tuesday.
But you see Cal supporting.
Have they settled their little beef?
And the women's basketball team.
Has Cal and
In
Stoops
soccer.
had-
They said they have.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't see Stoops.
I don't think Cal gives a rat's ass one way or the other.
No.
I think he's done what he had to do. And I think he still possibly has a little bit of resentment that he can't get a new practice facility even. And maybe this year, the performance of the team, he can look at Mitch and say, "How you like me now, bitch?"
Your language tonight, Michele.
I mean,
Well, because I said bitch. All right.
Damn, church with today too.
Oh,
Damn.
and he went to church. You feeling? That's all right.
Bitch is a female dog. Okay, you got it. That's like, wake up.
Dave-o.
Mary wrote on an ass. Okay, so
Damn.
Michele kind of stole my thunder on the
On what?
women's
The ass
basketball.
part or
No,
the
no.
bitch part? Or go ahead.
No, but she did kind of steal my thunder on the women's basketball program. I mean, this shit is like beyond sad right now. Jay, I think it would be fair to split the rest of Stoops' money up and just give whatever we can back to Matthew Mitchell, because he's probably the only saving grace that we have at this point. Yeah, something's got to happen. I mean, he built such a great program. I mean, it has just gone past shit. I mean, they lost by over 100 points in 3 games down at the whatever freaking tournament it was in. And that's just unacceptable. I know we're not a powerhouse women's program by any means, but that shit's embarrassing. So something's got to happen there.
Did Mitchell leave because of health reasons?
He
had
had
brain
a
surgery.
brain problem, right?
Yeah.
From a hike or something like that?
yeah, he fell, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. That's right.
But I heard he's fine. So, I mean, fuck, come back if you're fine.
well, fine, except that he's supposed to be stressed for have low
Yeah.
level stress,
Yeah.
and you're
I
not
will
going to
say-
have a low level.
Hire some really good assistants. Just bring some players in. Like
It
that's it.
wasn't that long ago. Elsie won the SEC championship.
Elsie won the SEC championship with Howard. Howard's gone.
Good.
So-
I mean,
Yeah.
so.
we got to give her a nod here.
That
Now,
3-day
Howard's
run was
coaching
ridiculous.
Florida.
Very. Because look at all the teams they beat. But then they beat LSU. Then they beat LSU. And
And then
Tennessee and South Carolina.
Carolina.
Yeah.
and everybody left. So somewhere there's a red flag with the staff,
Yeah.
right? So
There is some red flags in there, I guess.
Maria with the best shot of the night. Angels Envy. I'm with you there. Oh, here you go.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right. Good stuff tonight, guys and gal. Again, Cats Tuesday night. Home ACC SEC Challenge, Miami. College football playoff. Real quick, Terry, who's your 4 right now?
Georgia, Alabama,
You got
Washington,
Bama?
Oregon.
ooh,
Bama's in your 4.
does
Sure,
Alabama
why
have to beat Georgia to get in, Terry?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's my 4 right now. But yeah,
Okay.
look, Alabama's one of those teams. Show me the body. Like, we keep trying to write them off, but I'm like, show me the body.
They're that, yeah. And that was a good game against Auburn yesterday. Michele, same thing. Football top 4, real quick.
I don't even, because I'm still disgusted with Michigan beating Ohio. I hate Ohio State, and I didn't want them to win. But not wanting them for them to lose, that meant Michigan had to win. And so I was just in a no.
So there's no
win.
pleasing you.
No, there really isn't. So I don't even care now. Georgia,
They still.
Michigan.
Michigan. Washington.
Okay, we'll put them in.
And some other ass out there. Some other bitch out there.
I think Bama's going to mess around and lose and not get there.
Yeah, I Georgia. It still goes through Georgia to me. Jay, who's your top 4 real quick?
I'm with Terry. Regardless of Georgia beating Bama, Bama's Bama. Nick Saban somehow. I mean,
they can't. They're not getting in. If Georgia beats them,
That would
they're
be 2
not
losses.
getting in. 2 losses. Yeah, not with a couple undefeated teams out there. Washington's legit.
I would say Georgia, Michigan, Washington. I don't know who else.
But I think
Texas
Bama
wants to
could.
be there.
Yeah.
Dave, you're 4.
Georgia, Michigan, Alabama, and probably Texas.
Okay. All right. No love for the Pac-12. Okay.
Washington, maybe. I think it's tossed up between Washington and Texas. So.
Which will be a Pac-2 next year, right?
Pac-2.
A pack gone. Pack gone. They packed their shit.
Pac-Dose. Pac-Dose. All right. Good stuff. I appreciate you all hanging out. But Terry, I need the whiteboard to like wrap it up, but you did.
Terry, I didn't know how to get all in background cool stuff you're doing.
I know. Go figure that out. Balloons, fireworks.
This was for Halloween. I was an angry Kentucky fan. And then Cal started winning and Stoops beat Louisville. So yeah. I guess nobody's getting fired.
Nothing an eraser can't help you on that board. All right.
Unless it's Elsie, so that's the one who's on the hot seat.
Elsie, yes, she definitely. Terry, Michele, Dave. Yeah, definitely. It's just results. It's not happening. Jay, did you drop a podcast today? You recorded it?
I did. Religiously Kentucky Sports Podcast in the morning. Tune in because that shit is fire. I go on a rant. Now we had good. Jaron Ruth is really good. He covers the SEC, so we do this little thing around the SEC with Jaron Ruth. It is great. We talked about the Louisville game. Cardinals advantage. Turns out they was at Will Levis Stadium. So that might be the cause for 0 penalties because Cardinal fans, there's a reason there. But, yeah, fun episode out in the morning. Tune in, Religiously Kentucky Sports Podcast, myself with Jaron Ruth.
You only have to pay $8.6 million to listen to it.
Did you get Jay Williams on, Jay?
I'm trying to. I've been shooting.
We know someone who has his digits.
Send him a text, Michele.
I know. And I'm trying to talk to him because last year he had some side comments too about Kentucky not even being on the Mount Rushmore of blue bloods. He's been saying a lot of shit about Kentucky. So
I cannot wait for that episode. All right, guys. Good stuff tonight. Appreciate it. People in the chat, thanks for hanging with us again. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving holiday weekend. Enjoy your night. We will do it again soon. Peace out. Go Cats. Go.
Big
what
blue.
Else? Michele.
Go Kroger.
Yeah. Good night, people.
Except we're not. Now we got to go to the bank.